Today in our herbalism basics, we are going to be talking about tannins. These are extremely astringent properties within our herbs. They're pretty much our unsung heroes, and they are the sage of our little magical group of herbs. Let's get into this. My name is Brennan Lee, if you've not been here before, and I am with Moonlight and Muck Boots. And in this series on herbalism, I am trying to talk about all of the compounds and chemicals within the herbs that get them to do the magical things that they do without putting you or me to sleep. So if you like these types of things, please hit the like button, share, subscribe, all the fun things that you can do down there somewhere. And let's go ahead and go forth and conquer this baby. If you've ever sipped on a cup of black tea and felt your mouth go dry, it's the same thing that happens with red wine for a lot of people. Like the inside of your cheeks pucker, and it can be slightly uncomfortable. That is a tannin in action. You do want to be careful. Sometimes it's an allergic reaction. Sometimes it's just the tannins. Tannins are our structural crew of the herbal world. While other constituents are sparkles and smooth and seducing and calming, these guys are laying our mason bricks. They are the reinforcement, and they are tightening, they are sealing, and they are supporting us on the inside and the outside. And when I first learned about tannins, it was not in a very fun way. So I will go through this fairly quickly. I do appreciate the people who can have a good red wine, because I cannot. I have found out that I am allergic to the specific tannins within red wine. And pretty much everything has tannins, but all of them are different in some way, fashion, or form. For me, the tannins in red wine, that tightening and all of that happened in my throat. So I have to be super careful about the tannins that I do consume, because that was not fun. For me personally, it is the tannins in red grapes that I have an issue with. So knowing the difference between an allergic reaction and tannins doing what they do is extremely important. Not very many people think about this because they don't have the weird wonky allergies that I have. So by the end of this video, you will understand why tannins are the tight-lipped crew of the herbal world. And these are like our stewards in a court. They keep the mouth shut, and they just do what they need to do. And they are our protectors and our shapers, and they set boundaries. Knowing how to use them is just a shift in how you can handle everything from sore throats into your digestive issues. Our main problems with tannins is misunderstanding them as just drying or irritating, and an overuse can lead to things like constipation or reduced nutrient absorption. So these are things you do want to be careful about. Tannins do also get a side eye in the herbal world. Sometimes they're too drying, they're too harsh, they're too old school, and obviously overdoing it can throw a wrench in your plan. But again, with herbalism, balance is everything. So you want to think of these tannins as a good boundary. It's firm, it's clear, it's what is needed right at the moment, and they tighten, they seal, they do all of the bricklaying things. I just tried to make a masonry connection there, and my brain completely spaced. So if things are feeling loose, damp, or inflamed, these are very good things to use within reason. They are not trendy. They are timeless. We like timeless. For tannins, they tone and tighten, and we're going to explore what happens when we bring them in through teas, mouthwashes, compresses. And it's not just about boiling bark into oblivion, which you can. I won't judge you. Boil, toil, and trouble. Boil it all away. You will eventually lose all the good properties if you overboil things. Again, I digress. So we're going to start with what's familiar. So something like maybe a black tea or witch hazel. These things are pretty much everywhere at this point. Then we can branch out to things like our raspberry leaf, our blackberry leaf. They're pretty easy to grow, and they are exceptionally useful. They also smell pretty good too. But we want to focus on gentle, accessible herbs, because again, we are looking at an apothecary that you don't actually need an apothecary for. We are going to focus in on internal and external uses, and we are going to be covering, like I said, blackberry, raspberry, some oak bark, the witch hazel, rose petals, green and black tea, and yarrow. Yarrow is an exceptional plant to grow. It's gorgeous and it is super effective on multiple things. First, we need to look at the different types of astringent actions. These are surface astringent actions, and then we have internal astringent actions. So our surface astringent action, these things are best for things like cuts, scrapes, bruising, minor wounds, things like that, your gums. So these are witch hazel, yarrow, and oak bark. Our witch hazel is classic topical astringent. Most people know what witch hazel is. Yarrow is a blood stopper and it's anti-inflammatory. Then you have oak bark, which is also a very strong, deep astringent. For internal, and this is like more for gut support, sore throat, diarrhea, things like that, like your internal insides. Raspberry leaf, blackberry leaf, green and black tea. Our raspberry leaf is womb and gut support. And then our blackberry leaf is just a gentle and versatile, mild support for all of our internal organs. With green and black tea, this is for digestive and inflammation and is available pretty much everywhere. If I made that simple enough here. One of the things that I do like about the world of tannins is I'm always one for the underdog, and these are our underdogs. These are the ones that people just like, yeah, whatever. Well, they can be extremely important because you want a good foundation to build on. For our at-home uses, we are going to go through, I think I have 4 different things here. So these are cauldron optional, though it just makes it more fun, to be honest. For a gargle for a sore throat, you can stew. Brew a very strong black tea or raspberry leaf tea. Cool it down and then gargle a few times a day. This will help soothe irritation and tighten the tissues. Again, if you are making a gargle, cool it down. You do not want to gargle boiling tea, which is basically what this is. You're wanting a cold version of your tea. For a sitz bath or a soak, you can use yarrow, oak bark, or witch hazel. Basically, you are going to steep one of these herbs in water. Basically, again, you're making tea. And then you want to pour that into a basin or a bath if maybe you have postpartum hemorrhoids or just normal hemorrhoids. You can use it for that. I'm not sure what else a sitz bath would be used for, but super effective. For I'll get into the last one here in a second. I think it's very cool and pretty awesome. But our next one is a compress for wounds. These are very good for helping with your small wounds. Again, not a doctor. If you have a gaping wound, if you are profusely getting close to being unalived by a big cut, go to the doctor. Again, not a doctor. This does not indicate having to use the doctor or the emergency room in an emergency. So back to the compress for wounds. You can make a cooled tea, so a cooled tea of your tannin-rich herbs, and then soak a cloth in your mixture or paper towels, whatever you want to use, whatever you have handy. Just make sure it's clean if there is blood or like open wounds. I'm talking about a scrape here, y'all. We're making a cooled tea of our tannin-rich herbs. We're soaking a cloth in it, and we're applying that to our cuts, scrapes, bug bites, and it helps to stop bleeding and reduce inflammation. If you have a ginormous wound, go to the hospital. This is not something like if you've accidentally hit yourself with a chainsaw, you can do. That takes a hospital with stitches. Just have to be very clear on these things. Then we can also do, say, a daily tea for gut support. So this would be your raspberry leaf or your blackberry leaf. And this is the opposite of loosening things up. This will help tighten them back up. So if you are having an upset stomach, and it's not because you intentionally did that with other herbs, it's just something's happening in your body at the moment, you can use blackberry leaf or raspberry leaf to help tighten all that back up and get back to a level set. So the next time anything puckers your lips when you're eating it or drinking it, those are tannins. It's actually what happens to a lot of people when they drink red wine. That's why I think that I'm not a huge wine person, but I'm assuming that's why I would like, oh, this is a very dry wine, because you're like, and just sucks all the liquid out of your mouth. Our tannins may not be all the glory, but they are the ones holding everything together. They are our fixers. They're quietly working behind the scenes to make sure we don't fall apart. I believe I have now hit in the 4 videos our basic compounds. There are so many more, but these are the main ones you're wanting to pay attention to when you are working on items at home to take care of at-home things. If you like these types of videos, please hit the like, share, subscribe buttons down below. Also, if you could drop down any of your favorite home remedies that you have, that would be fabulous. We can learn and grow as a community, and I'm going to share one right now. So, yarrow can be used to help stop bleeding. If you grow yarrow in your yard, go pick some, dry it out, then you crush it into a powder. You can add it to arrowroot or something like that, or just use it by itself in the powdered form and sprinkle that over a small cut, a scrape that just won't stop bleeding. And that will help tighten that back up. It will help dry up the blood and stop you from bleeding everywhere. This would have been very helpful had I had some of that available when I cut my finger cleaning up the garden last year, because that was seriously painful and painful for a very long time. I don't know if y'all can hear my pit bull snoring. She is seriously snoring with her eyes open and using our cat Storm as a pillow. Oh, the world I live in. Oh my goodness. All right. Thank you guys. I hope you have a magical and blessed week. I will talk to you later. Bye.